Hello, dear friends. The economy is a good indicator of global change. Opinion piece. The cicada and the ant. China would be the ant. The West would be the cicada. The BRICS would be the barn. The rival of the BRICS is the G7. It is a global economic pulse. New global reserve currency. The European Union also seeks to de-dollarize. Let's start. Once upon a time, there was a cicada that, when winter came, found itself without food and went to borrow it from its neighbor the ant. The latter, fearing that she didn't have enough for both of them, refused to lend it to her and reproached her for having spent the summer in luxury instead of having stockpiled food for the cold season. The ant's relentless work is rewarded with survival, while the cicada's carelessness is paid for with life. The cicada and the ant is one of the fables attributed to Aesop and recreated by La Fontaine and Samaniego. It doesn't take much imagination in this fable to realize that the cicada symbolizes the Western countries, and the ant is China, with millions of docile little ants with slanting eyes working tirelessly to develop together with the global resource basket of the BRICS countries, whose club many more strategic countries of the world want to join. It is not possible to fight the giant but to negotiate with it in order to live together in peace in a multipolar world. Rebuilding the system. When it comes to rebuilding the global financial system, what goes unnoticed is the further development of the BRICS. BRICS member countries are expanding their influence by offering an alternative global payment system. Currently, the 5 original members, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, control 30% of the world's total land area and 41% of the world's population, and contribute 16% of world trade at about 24% of world GDP. The BRICS counterpart is the G7. Canada, France, Germany, Italy, the United Kingdom, the United States, and the European Union. The two main factors on which they differ are the population they serve. Over 3 billion in the BRICS versus 987 million in the G7, and GDP, where the G7 is currently $33.93, almost $34 trillion, and the BRICS is around $23.5 trillion. While BRICS members are not well represented in the global financial system, their collective GDP could reach half of global GDP by 2030, and with the possible inclusion of new countries, this could happen much faster than expected. Threat. An enlarged BRICS could account for more than half of the world's population, including countries with younger populations and rapid population growth. They would also hold 60% of the world's known gas reserves, 45% of the world's oil reserves, and significant amounts of natural resources such as water and rare earth minerals. As of 2018, the BRICS are developing a potentially new reserve currency called R5 or R5 Plus, based on the first letters of the currencies of the original BRICS countries: the real, the ruble, the rupee, the renminbi, and the rand. This BRICS reserve currency is a potential rival to the dollar and the IMF's special drawing rights currency. Special drawing rights are the currency used by the IMF for lending to member countries. Along with the new reserve concept, the BRICS have already developed a counterpart to the IMF called the New Development Bank, and many countries have ratified their participation in the NDB, Egypt as of February 2023. Consequences. The implication of BRICS activities will have transformative consequences for the global financial system. A larger BRICS group would have greater control over key trade routes, exports and supply chains, and with an alternative payment system, move to compete with the dollar and current Western financial banking systems. Bank Indonesia, which has a basket currency for the global financial restart, has asked importers and exporters to stop payments in dollars. China, Japan, Thailand and Malaysia have already agreed to use the BRICS two-way payment mechanism and de-dollarization, and Singapore and the Philippines plan to join the system. The BRICS format could also be a sound alternative for the European Union, as it seeks to de-dollarize. We are still looking for a global financial reset, but we do not see the mechanisms of this transformation, and the road is almost built. Opinions. Andrew C. Each new currency unit, dollar, pound, franc, euro, etc., will be worth 1 gram of gold, which means that the world's currencies will be backed by gold, not assets. A country's wealth is asset-backed, but the currency in circulation is backed by gold and only gold. In essence, the world's currencies will be gold digitized, tokenized, transferred and tracked around the world by the QFS. It is as simple as that. At the official launch of the global financial reset, the price of gold used to back each currency will be announced. Local currencies will be a layer underneath this global currency. If we love freedom so much, why are we here? Asks Morgan of ZGI. In quotes, why did we volunteer to come to the realm of demiurge, and after we come to be slaves to circumstance, most end up burying themselves in gratuitous obligations that enslave them even more. When I get to where I'm going, I hope it was worth this crap. Don't be a victim. According to Liberty Lady, these globalists are panicking because their best laid plans are falling apart, as the basis of their success would be a brutalized citizenry, and people are waking up fast. The main problem is how to get everyone under one hat. The citizens who really know what is going on are either impatient or angry, with the grey hats that are not as white as they seem. Transformation by Morgan. The true destiny of humankind is to fly on eagle wings above the darkness of temporal things that hide our true selves from ourselves and others. It is to transform into a state of eternal freedom from the bondage of the flesh, into a new body of glorious light that nothing can harm. Show. Puffiness believes that our voice is being heard. The show that is unfolding is simply a set of much needed scripts intended to bring to light misaligned people who are being led down a dangerous path. Thank your lucky stars you are not part of this. There are things afoot that will blow the minds of many. We expect a break at any moment. There are many interested in stopping this show, but they cannot. There are others who have been waiting for a long time for the information that is coming. And then there are others who do not believe. Just be assured that there is much afoot that is essential to the cleansing. There are many interested in seeing the society dismantled, but it won't happen. There is a lot of money moving around and much more is planned. Just rest assured that, as you know, all this takes time. It will be done. You can be sure of that. Are they about to announce a world government? Multiple sources report that they plan to announce a world government in the near future. To accomplish this, humankind is going through an initiation ceremony. Then, according to them, war, UFOs and accidents would be just theater designed to force the masses to submit to a world authority. This sounds like an excuse to avoid the courts. There is also evidence that they have controlled most Western governments and have tried to impose central control over all money, food, etc., with their digital IDs and digital currency. So we are dealing with an attempt to take over the planet by forcing us to obey. Crayon's message: you have attacked your own financial systems over the last 5 years to try to make them fair and eliminate as much greed as possible. Historians will say that this would have been an impossible situation in the past, as large sums of money were considered untouchable. However, you disturbed the nest and began to plant the seeds for a better system. This recession is a readjustment of big money, nor is it over, as the old system has to recreate itself. You may have noticed that your bankers are confused. They are frozen in the headlights of a new paradigm and do not know how to operate. That should tell you how new and uncertain this change is, unlike anything you have ever seen. Understanding. People are beginning to understand the scams that happened over 100 years ago. According to Anna von Wright, Lincoln and his Secretary of the Treasury figured out how to convince everyone to trade gold for paper's greenbacks. Before that and after the First World War, the governments of this world have been in conscious contact with ET civilizations, according to Anna von Wright. The visitors are like us, good and bad. Advanced civilizations help us. The not so advanced civilizations try to take advantage of us. They were given technology in exchange for natural resources. Governments took this for their own benefit in the name of national security. So now we have the secret space program and the United States Service, and both are just commercial corporations trying to corner the space market. They have split and created alliances with one group associated with good ETs and the other with bad ETs. We are not cattle to be touched and sent as slaves and food sources for the far corners of the galaxy. The people of this planet are going to be liberated. This is called the apocalypse because once the curtain opens, you cannot unsee what you have seen. The old illusions lose their power, and the full force and power of life itself becomes visible. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.